Welcome to Daybreak, where ideas unite and creativity takes flight. Join us as we ascend to the forefront of innovation, where sparks of creativity illuminate the skies. Now, let's hand over the controls to your hosts Christel and Hendo as they dive into today's captivating discussions.
Hi, Christel.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry about
doing?
that delay. My camera was not working from my phone for some reason. I don't know why.
That's
The
okay.
tech just
That's all right.
the
Listen,
tech, but here I am. I'm on the computer.
1% better every time. This is the plan.
I
This is
know,
what
but
we're
this
doing.
time I was so excited because I'm like, we've got all the tech ready. We have less tech, but you know what? That's how it is. And I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to this. So it's gonna be
always.
good.
How's it going?
How you doing? How
Happy
you doing?
Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Daybreak on X. We are on episode 5. How did that happen? 1% better every episode. So we're now at 5%, which is amazing. We're getting there, people. Christel's having camera issues today, so you might just have me, which is probably terrifying for everybody. How you doing, Christel?
Gosh, am I back?
You're
What's
back.
terrifying? What's
Just
terrifying?
me. If
What did I
it
miss?
was just me.
Oh my goodness. That's how I feel when it's just me. But no, we get so much support. It's been fun doing these lives. I can't imagine doing these without the community support and without you. So
Yeah,
yeah, thanks everyone for being here.
because you've done a few on your own, haven't you? You've done the workshops.
Yeah, I've been doing workshops, for a couple of years, but live streaming is very different. Like when you have an audience there that you can't see, right? You just see the numbers of how many people are watching. I've always kind of struggled with that a little bit because as a teacher, I'm used to seeing my students in front of me. Dan Roeder is one of our guests today, so I'm sure he understands this well as a special education teacher too. We're used to being able to look at our students, see them. Even when I'm in a space, I laugh about how I stare at the screen, like when someone's talking,
Yeah, well,
because
in a
there's
space,
that visual
you've got
element, you know?
yeah, you've got all the emojis in a space. There's people interacting, even if you're getting those. You know,
Right. Exactly.
yeah, it's like, no, shut up. No, 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 not more of that stuff. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's different. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining. If you are watching live on X, let us know in the comments who's there, who's out there, who's watching. Have you had a good week? What you're doing? We're going to change up the show a little bit today. We like to keep it interesting. So we've been doing lots of presentations. Hey, Oliver, thanks. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining. We've been doing
Wow,
lots of
Oliver has a
Whoa.
12-hour time difference, so it's midnight there. Thank you for joining us, Oliver.
Amazing. And Denise,
Dennis, good to see
thank you. Good to see you. So what are we doing, Christel? What's the plan? What are we going to do today?
What are we going to do today? Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a different show for you all today because we like to switch things up. Hendo and I are both very creative, and Hendo, of course, is our creative director. So when he comes in and says, I have an idea, let's switch it up, I'm usually 100% on board. Also, we appreciate you all chatting with us because it lets us know that you're here. Unless you say hi, like DR did and Oliver did and Dennis, then we don't know that you're watching. But we do appreciate everyone for being here. We're multi-streaming right now on YouTube, the video site. But this is our weekly X show, Daybreak. It's dedicated to X, dedicated to the creators that we've met here, the creators that we're learning from. Hendo and I both met on X. We were asked yesterday why we choose this as our platform. So I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about that. We're really here for you all though. So we wouldn't be, Hendo and I can talk, we can talk all day to each other.
Yeah, we just do that all the time.
Here for you all.
It was an interesting question because that was like,
hi, Alex Utopia.
Asking us which is our favorite platform. And it's like anybody who uses X is probably going to say X. But then the people that use the other platforms don't really have a choice because, like, do people really say they like LinkedIn or people can say they like YouTube? Like, I don't use YouTube, so I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't use
Instagram. Very successful creators on LinkedIn, and I imagine they're talking about how much they like it. So it's a great opportunity over there. But the main thing, and I imagine you would agree, it's so cool that RJ, one of our community members from X, is joining us on YouTube. So that's cool. Hi, RJ. Good to see you on YouTube.
Did you see RJ's new video?
I haven't. We'll have to talk to you.
Oh, it's a good one.
My main answer was that this is where the community is. X is really a platform that I think is amazing for, I know because I've experienced it, amazing for networking, relationship building. Yes, sure, if you have a business, it's a great place to market your business. And they're doing more for B2B and for businesses to be successful. But I find that X is a wonderful place for creators that really want to grow with other creators, grow through networking, collaboration. That's how Hendo and I met. So we're doing this show weekly, every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern. We normally have a space during the show, but today we're doing a little bit different because we want to make sure that this experience is the best that it can be for all of us, for you all, for us, so that we continue to do it and continue to show up every week. Let's go ahead and put this little overlay there on. Let me be a good producer here. We do produce and host at the same time. But yeah, so normally we come here and we're giving you the news, and then we do a reaction segment. We always have a special guest. Today we have a special guest. I'll let Hendo introduce him when the time comes. And then we have one of our founders with us today as well, also a friend of the show, Dan Roeder. So he's going to be joining us a little bit later. And yeah, we end with our fun game that Hendo started with the Real or AI post. So he knows the answers. So that's always fun. So make sure you stay till the end. And yeah, we appreciate you all for supporting us. Today we're doing a little bit differently. You want to tell them about what we're doing today?
Yeah. So, well, listen, we've enjoyed the show. We're on episode 5, and it's kind of test and learn the whole way through. We're trying to figure out what's the right thing to do, what's the best thing to do. And what we've done over the last 4 episodes is, share our journeys, but also share our thoughts on X and news that we're seeing. And we're probably all seeing the same news. Some of the posts that we're sharing, thousands of people are seeing it. So we don't want to be repeating content. We want to be able to share some of the things that are sort of slipping through the net, so to speak. But we thought today we'd sort of change it up a little bit, because myself and Christel, we're trying to build our profiles. We're trying to share what we do, share our backgrounds a little bit, and also having conversations between us. So we thought, well, let's do that today on here as well, so that we can also ask each other questions, but also questions from you as well, people out there that want to know more about our creative work, some of the things that we're working on, some of the things that we've done, our journey on X. Like, there's so much that kind of gets all woven into this experience, and we're going to pack it into 1 hour for you. That's the plan.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear from you all, because again, we are doing Backstage Pass directly after the show. You can go to our bios to get the link. So it'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'd love to hear from you there. And we want to continue bringing you the news. We also want to switch it up. Hendo and I are both working on our interviewing skills. I started an interview podcast with the founders, and Hendo was the first one. I actually published that this morning. So it's a lot of fun, and we want to get better at interviewing our guests and spotlight creators. So we thought we'd mix it up today, add in the interview component. And we'd love to hear from you all, because really we're designing this show with the audience, with the community. So if you like news, if you like interview, let us know the different formats. I feel like today and this week is a perfect week to do this, because as I was digging through and getting the news, I was like, it's kind of a slow week, so I think this is good.
Yeah, for sure.
We can mix it up.
Yeah, because the last few weeks have been crazy. There was the talk about new techs. We had Luma, then we had Runway came out, I think, for the creators a couple of weeks ago. We saw it last week. I've been playing with it for the last few days, and it's amazing. And we're seeing lots of that content. But there's also, that's about the brands that are using X. We also wanted to talk about X and some of the changes that are happening on the platform. And some of them, we hear it from Alex Finn a lot. We hear it from Doge Designer. We hear it from Elon.
Did you see the latest post? This is really interesting, from Alex Finn, where he's basically saying, look, number of followers just does not matter anymore. Yeah. He's saying that the level of engagement that, and let us know what you all think. We'd love to hear your opinion. Also, we're kind of running this like a mini AMA, ask us anything, ask me anything. So if you have questions about personal branding, creative direction, AI, growing on X, building relationships, we'd love to put them up and answer them. But yeah, so Alex Finn was basically saying that, yeah, followers, the number of followers is not the key here. And this is something we've been saying. We've been talking about micro influencers, right? People with less than 10,000 followers, or maybe that's nano, I don't know. But he's talking about, minuscule. He's talking about the key is relationship building. And if you can focus on that, even if you only have a couple hundred followers. I remember when I only had a couple hundred followers and I did a space with Alex Northstar, who had, I think he had close to 10,000 or over 10,000 at the time. And we did a space together and it was wonderful, obviously, for my growth and meeting people. And yeah, it was really cool. The TikTokification of X is for real.
Yeah, is that a good thing? Because,
well, I wonder what he means by that. Can you tell us a little more?
Yeah, that'd be interesting, because I think a lot of people are sort of saying that TikTok it's a little bit invasive, the way it works, the way it kind of draws people in, and it's a powerful platform, as we know X is as well. The interestingly, Christel, the RJ's video he posted without using X, he'd sort of managed to set up a sort of little hack using make.com, because RJ was
that post.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. You're talking about the video RJ did? Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, look at RJ. Y'all know I'm a fan of RJ, and I love when someone drops something and it's like, ooh, that was so professional. You look like you've been making video. He's great with video. So he's gonna do well for many reasons, but the fact that he's got the video skill is like,
yeah, big time.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Theodora, thanks for the compliments. Always good to have friends of Daybreak promoting Daybreak after being
on Daybreak.
On Daybreak.
All right, let's see. Let's go through some of these comments, and then I think we can ask each other a question. And we're kind of flowing here, but we wanted to be more engaged with you all and hear from you. So DR says, depends on the platform, have been denied opportunities due to not having 10,000. Yeah, I totally understand that. And when I was talking about reaching out to Alex Northstar, I DM'd a lot of people and got a lot of rejections. But Alex Northstar is all about, this is what Dan is saying here, he's all about building relationships. And I remember when we got on the phone and he said, let's make this valuable. And we did. It didn't matter that I had a couple hundred followers, right? He was able to see. And this is why it's so important, the content that you're creating. Oh my gosh, I could talk about this so much.
Listen, Alex Northstar is brilliant, because he did the very same to me as well. We had a conversation with, I'd only a few hundred followers, and he's like, Hendo, my man, let's make this valuable. What are we going to do? And we had the conversation, and that was before we met in Vegas as well. So it was.
Oh yeah, y'all met in Vegas, but what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? For real. Yeah. Thank you, Dennis, for this. Dennis says, my background in education plus yours in advertising makes it a weapon of mass creation. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's good.
We're cooking behind the scenes. We've got a few things. We've got many things. But today it's Daybreak. No secrets today. Not divulging any secrets.
So I'd love to talk about what I was thinking this morning. Connecting with incredible people. This is, I won't give the alpha away. I said I'd let you do that. But yeah, good to see you, Jared. Good to see your comment. But one of the things I was thinking about is, and this is why I love working with newbies, people that are beginners, because they constantly remind you how important it is to go back to what worked in the beginning. Because oftentimes as we advance, right, we forget what worked in the beginning. And then we see these plateaus because we're no longer doing those habits, those like daily, everyday actions. So I want people to know that you can do so much with just a couple hundred followers. Of course, once you hit those 1,000 marks, it's great. But it's really about building relationships. And I want to talk, one of the things we used to talk about all the time, Hendo, is lists. and
Lists.
how big of
Yeah.
a fan we are, right? And that's how
Yeah.
I met you. It's how I met you. It's how I met Alex, because I created these lists of creators that I wanted. I was intentional about who do I want to build relationships with, right? And I'm new to X, so I was looking for other creators that are creating with AI. And I put you both on lists and then followed you around. And now look, we have, you and I have shows every day. We're with Alex. He's in, and this is just 2 relationships. I could sit here and talk about, the founders and the educators and people that we've met outside of the educator community in the broader X community. So yeah, tell the people why we got to keep lists going.
Well, yeah, because the reason I found out about lists was from Alex Finn, and he was talking about making sure that your following ratio is balanced, so you don't have too many followers versus you're following too many people. So it was like, yeah, cool, make some lists.
That's another really good tip. The ratio.
Yeah, one of the funny things I learned about lists very early on was making private lists, but also making public lists. Because if you make a public list, and I think Alex Finn had mentioned about a certain amount of high profile, mid tier, and then people that are just sort of around your peer group, so that you're growing with people. And the people that I connected with, I think that was when I met you as well, because you maybe had 300 followers, I maybe had 200. And I kind of looked around for people that were making cool content. It's like, yeah, that person, that one, they're cool. And to be honest, Christel, I think you're probably one of the only people that I've stayed in touch with. The other people have just disappeared. They've moved on.
Or I'll see those people pop up every now and then. I'll look at their follower count and I can tell that they haven't stayed creating because they literally have not grown from the time that you and I met. And what Hendo just said there, that's exactly what I did. And it helps so much. Not when I talk about growth on X, some people, when they talk about growth, yes, we can talk about money. That's great. We can talk about follower count. We can talk about impressions. But for me, the best growth that I get from X are these relationships. And so Hendo just shared a strategy that I used and it helped me grow and meet great people. And that is exactly that. Those 3 lists, right? The people that are, so if you all go and see how many followers you have, this is a decent indication to do this. Follow other people, add them to your list that have about the same amount of followers, because even though it's a vanity metric and we're talking about how follower count, it is still a good metric as far as like someone's activity. And did it take them 10 years to get to 500 followers, or did they just join a couple months ago, right? Like if you watch Teodora, and the way she's growing, you can tell she's using lists, she's engaging, and you want to keep it, you want to keep an eye on those people. You also want to have people on your list that are what I call pros, right? That have a ton of followers and are very active content creators, because in their comments, that could be your target audience or your ideal member for your community. And those are people that then you can add to your list. What do you think about that? Do you go in the comments and look for new people to follow from the comments?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. One of the funniest things about lists as well is that somebody, like when you do create a list, if you create a public list, make sure that you give it a name that's public facing. So don't call a list.
I had to learn this.
Yeah.
Learn this the hard way, because I learned from someone. It was like, do a list of small creators. And I called it that. And then I was like, oh, wait, they can see this. Like when I saw that mine were public, like when RJ added us to the parents list, that's so funny. I love it.
Exactly.
But yeah, you all, please know the difference between private lists and public lists. And if you are running a business, if you are running a marketing agency, you're a digital marketer, social media manager, creating lists for leads and people to connect with specifically that are private, really powerful. Don't talk about that.
Because so I remember somebody, I saw a post from somebody and they were saying about they had called their list slightly bigger than me, and that was the problem. So they were putting people on the list that like maybe had 20 or 50.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
like
be careful, people.
I hate. Just kidding, I don't have one of those. But if you do, please make it private.
Exactly. Yeah, it's cool.
RJ, it is a parent's holy grail. Oh my goodness. Teodora says, when am I going to send her the invoice for advertising? But look, this is what community design is about, right? It's why we build. It's one of the reasons we build relationships. It's because who better to co-promote than the people that you're actually, it's what Hendo and I do all week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And that's for sure. And that's kind of the purpose of the platform as well, is that it gives everyone the opportunity to engage with it. We know when it's happening, it's a regular thing, and it's by a group of people that we all know each other. We're all going to support each other. We're all going to promote each other's work. But that the intention is this is going to get bigger and bigger. And it's already bigger than what it was. You know, on episode 5% bigger, which is good. You know, we're doing our thing. And we're very grateful for all the support that everybody's given us as well. So thank you again. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When did you when you started right away, or like when you started on X, because we both started about the same time, around August last year ish.
Yeah, almost,
like
about a year ago.
Yeah. I started going really serious like November, December, but yeah, I remember I had like 32 followers in August. But when did you start doing DMs? And are DMs an active part of your strategy to build relationships and network with people?
When did I start? So I started in August, and I was kind of lost probably for the first 3 months. I really didn't know what I was doing, and I posting content, and it was like, like looking back on it, it's cringe, but it was just completely ignorant. Didn't know how the platform worked. Didn't know how people engaged.
Okay, I was a giraffe with a rainbow grill.
It was cool, but that was an NFT project,
cringe.
wasn't it? So it was but you know, NFTs are cool, and using them as PFPs
no, I
is
know,
good
I'm
as
just
well.
kidding. Let me be nice to myself.
Yeah, but I think DMs, most of the DMs, I don't really do cold DMs, not yet anyway. But most of the DMs are with people that I've connected with that know me in some shape or form. I've commented on their posts.
But you're initiating. I know you're not, it's not cold, but you're do you initiate DMs, or you wait for people to DM you?
No, I initiate. I just usually just say hi.
I think a lot of people are not initiating DMs, which is why I wanted to bring this up, because if we want to, Alex says, I pretty much ignore anyone with a PFP like that.
Fair enough.
I remember when I asked in a space, should I change my PFP to my face? And the response I got, like everyone came off their mic, North Star was like, yes, please. But I wanted to bring up the DM thing because we're talking about building relationships. And I'm shocked when I work with a new client or a new community member and they tell me that they never initiate DMs. And part of the reason for this is because they hear people talking about, cold DMs, and DMs are salesy, whatever. And it's like, no, of course there's a time for sales in the DMs, but that takes a while. What we're talking about, and that's only if you have a business or an agency, we're talking about building relationships. And I feel like a lot of people are missing a huge opportunity to connect because they're never initiating a DM that just says, hey, I was just in a space with you, or I see your content, I really like it. You don't have to ask for anything. You don't have to do anything. It can just be, so I'd love to know from you all too. Like, are you DMing? What do you think of this? Dan says many are cringe. Absolutely. But I'm not talking about those, right? I'm talking about the ones that you get and it's someone like, hey, I saw you in a space and I'd love to connect. I mean, that's like a real human.
Yeah.
Those other ones sit in the,
But the other ones is I think some people go through the process of thinking, I'm going to send a load of DMs as sales DMs. They send them and then they go, oh, I've done that now. But they're not effective because most those sales emails that your DMs that you're getting from people, they're trying to sell you something straight off the bat. And it's like, let's have a bit of a chat. Let's have a little bit of a dance. See if we like each other. See if you're cool. See if there's something to talk about, if we've got something in common, and then maybe talk about the sales thing. That'd be my approach. But the other...
Exactly. A lot of people you're never, you might not ever get to the sales conversation with because they might not be an ideal client for you. I'm finding the job site is having, the clients that we're really looking towards. And it doesn't mean that they don't exist here, but definitely we're recommending leading with it. Think about it as that we talk about like the party, right? You're not going to just walk up to someone and try to sell them something. You're going to be like, hey, how's it going? Do you like that song? You're not going to be like, will you come to my space? I've never talked to you before, but here's a link to my space. Please come.
Or you're at a house party and the DJ's playing. You're like, hey man, do you want to buy a website? What about a website? Yeah, website. It's like, man, come on, man. We're gonna play some music here.
But this is why I'm so dedicated to talking about personal brand, especially this is like the next curriculum that we're really focused on, because when we think about personal brand, we think about what makes us unique, what makes us likable, and just human, like let's go back to when we learned how to make friends, because that's really what we're talking about here. And then if you can turn that friendship into a collaborative relationship like Hendo and I have, doing business together, I mean, that is bonus and icing on the cake. But even if I don't want to say just find a new friend, that's amazing. You found a new internet friend. Jeffrey's letting the people know if they get I love this. Jeffrey is the man. He said, look, if you get a DM from me, it's a sincere no. I love that, Jeffrey.
Yeah, you can use this as an advertising board if you do a really good comment.
I'm like, that was smart. Jeffrey's like, I know they're gonna put up my comment, so I'm gonna let their audience know. Hi, Monique.
If you've got a website, you want someone to go to your website, you can put it here. Here.
Go ahead. Look, if y'all want to if you do have a website, but here's what we're saying to you. No one's going to click on your website if they are not first interested in you as a person. And this is what's changing. And this is what people don't realize. All of these business-facing PFPs are going to have a much harder time connecting than if you also have an account that's you as a person, because people want to connect with personal brand, with humans, more than the business.
This
Now Player. What you think?
Now Player's got the best name. It's like Nah
Player. I know. I didn't want to say it at first. I was shy. I was like, do I call you Nah Player?
No, he's cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good to see you. Hey Joshua, thanks for joining us.
Build relationships, everything else falls in place. I love that. Alex says this guy's not doing your website. So funny. All right. Well, I think we just blasted through the first half segment. We'd love to know from you all. What do you think of this? Us chatting with each other? Because, we can talk, right? We didn't do news today. Doesn't mean we won't do it more. We're about to bring Jared up. Jared is our special guest. So, let us know in the comments what you think. And Hendo, you want to introduce our special guest?
Yeah, listen, this guy is super cool. We've only known each other for a little while. We've been watching each other's content, and just another creator that's putting out really cool stuff and consistently putting out amazing creative, amazing videos, exploring the technology, involved with the community, like comments on my work, which is always a good thing. It's like, if you want me to be your friend, comment on my ridiculous posts. We can be friends. That's how it works.
It's true, people. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I've met most of the people I met on X was like me just sending memes and making caricatures of them on trains. That's how I've made all my friends on X, which is a weird thing to do, but it worked, and I'm going to do it again. But yeah, so our next guest has put out some amazing content. He met I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you who he met and what he's done. We'll let him do that. But we'll get to him in after this quick transition. So thank you all for joining us, and we will be back in one moment.
You're watching Daybreak, and it's time for the X Creator Spotlight. We're about to showcase one of X's creators. Christel and Hendo are ready to dive into their world and uncover what makes them a standout star.
Are you doing it, or
today's
am I?
X talent?
I'm over here creating a banner.
That's it. I've got it. Jared, how's it going, brother?
Hey, how's it going? That was such a cool little intro. I love that. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, we don't. Yeah, okay, there it is. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Jared. Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you both going? All good?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good. And yeah, congratulations. Thank you for taking the time to join us. It looks like you've had a crazy couple of weeks.
Yeah. So it's funny because I started this whole AI Onwards project thing about a year ago, and I wasn't even I live in New York now. I was living in London at the time, and I didn't think a year later would I be in a different country, but also being able to create so much content and still keep it going, and it seems to keep getting bigger and bigger. So June was probably the biggest month as a creator on this platform, on the platform, outside of the platform, and it was the first time where my AI content kind of bridged the lines between like social media and like real life. So it's great, and now I'm just trying to keep things going now. Really.
Yeah, amazing. Because like the first thing that caught my eye, like, you know, I've been watching your content. You've been talking about the content. I'm pretty sure did you talk about your move to New York as well? Like, were you living in the UK? And I kind of remember you moving to New York. Yeah. And the one that really popped for me was the anime. Was it, did you do that with Luma?
It was all done in Luma, yeah. So when it comes to AI video tools, I'm always a little bit skeptical because there's a lot of them out there, and I'm like, okay, here comes another one. But this one really blew my mind, especially with anime kind of content. And I watch a bit of anime, but I didn't think a tool would be able to animate it so well. And then I posted it, and suddenly the Luma account were reposting it. The employees of Luma as the company were reposting it. And I, for like a week straight, I just focused on creating content to try and support them because I thought the tool was fantastic, very accessible. It ticked all the boxes as a creator. And so I wanted to support them as much as I could. And that video kind of took off a little bit.
Yeah, cool. So then there was the other competition. Did you use Luma for that, or did you use something different for that one?
So that one, I actually used Pika Labs. That was funny because I wasn't aware that it was a competition. It was a 2-day event I went to for my work, like a professional thing. But it was a very AI focused event. And they said, hey, if you post a video about the conference online, you have a chance to win something. And I was like, okay, well, I looked on Twitter, people are posting selfies at the event, and I was like, okay, well, I want to try and stand out a little bit. So I took a photo of their logo and reimagined it using Pika Labs AI video. And lucky me, I managed to win the prize that day. It was very surreal because I was in a meeting at the time. I kind of heard my name in the background. I ran out like, oh my God, I won. And it was great. And it was a big moment because it's like AI and real life collide, and I'm like, wow, this is
for sure. And was that was an event in New York, was it?
Yeah, it's an event in New York. It was for a company called Meltwater. They do social media listening and analytics for brands, marketing, and I was there just as an attendee, trying to learn what they're up to.
Okay.
Yeah, and before I knew it, I was posting content about the event, and now amazing. I think half their management team are following me on LinkedIn now, so it's great.
Oh, cool. Okay, so and that's the main part of that work was on LinkedIn, or was it on X?
I thought it was to be LinkedIn because it was a professional event for work. I work in I work in crisis communications for a big multinational company. So I was like, I'll put some stuff on LinkedIn, get some connections. But then the support on X appeared out of nowhere. And now I've got these really important people in this company looking at my LinkedIn content. And then now that I see them now on X, also looking at my content. So brilliant. It's, my boss was very like, what the hell is going on?
And does your boss know about your life on X, about your content creation?
Yeah. I mean, he knows about it. He isn't the biggest AI techie kind of person.
Okay.
But I think he appreciates the hustle and the skills that come from doing this because I work in crisis communications, focusing on social media risk for my company, and so being aware of what's happening on social media is like a huge part of my work.
Sure.
And the best way for me to learn about it is by being on the platforms. So that's been a kind of a side advantage of being a creator. Is you learn a lot about algorithms, what content has impact, how people write.
Absolutely.
So all comes together in the end, really.
It's how's your experience on X been then? So you've been here for a year, is that what you said?
I feel a bit like a dinosaur because I started making content like over 10 years ago. Like I was a gaming YouTuber back in 2012, like back at the time. And that channel, I go back, it's very cringy now, but I grew that to nearly 10,000 subscribers. It was a big thing back in the day. And then I never thought I'd be able to create another project that would be somewhat what I would call successful and fun. And then, for the last year at X, it's been fast. I've never grown something this quickly from a follower count perspective, but also from an engagement perspective. I've met more people in the last year than I did on 10 years of the other project. So
yeah.
it's
Why do you think
incredible.
that is? Why do you think it's been that sort of fast paced?
It's just I spoke to someone at the event about this, and it's like back in the day, it was really hard to speak to people because you're creating this content in tech or gaming or something, and to meet people in that space, you either go to events physically or you send emails. Nowadays, it's really quick to DM people, and you guys were discussing this earlier. And a lot of the connections and opportunities I've gotten have come from this incredible platform, the ability to write a message to the CEO of an AI company and said, hey, I love your tool. How can I support it? It's incredible how many of them respond and say, yeah, we love your work. Please come work with us, or let's partner and do something. That for me, that didn't happen when I started making content, and now it's all here.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal about this platform. We've spoken about it a few times over the last shows that, people, we're all building our own personal brands, and we've got our own identities, our tone of voice. And then there's companies that are doing the very same thing, like big multinationals, but their CEOs are on X. So you're only one DM away from these people, and you're able to connect with these, supposedly people that were previously in ivory towers, unable to get to them, impossible to be able to communicate with them. Whereas now it's like it's an open platform, and the people that do talk openly about their brands and themselves are the ones that tend to connect better with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny working in the communications department of a big multinational company, because they speak a lot about, let's put X amount of thousands of dollars into like campaigns so we can reach these people, we can reach this audience. And I'm like, well, it's a lot cheaper if you just get on Twitter and just DM them directly instead of doing a big campaign to get their attention. You'd be surprised how much a DM goes, and it's free to do. And for me, it's a good indicator of where we're going. And I think it's a great thing that the thresholds to reach people are declining, and the personalities of people and the willingness of people to be proactive and curious is starting to come to the forefront.
Right.
I'm so happy about this.
Yeah, cool. One of the interesting things I saw you posting about. So first of all, you met one of the original X-Men. Yeah. Well, does he classify himself as one of the X-Men? I don't know if he does.
He classified when he was on the stage at the event. He did. Yeah, but I was very lucky to meet Ryan Reynolds at this Meltwater event. It wasn't supposed to happen, but I helped them sell a lot of tickets to people from my company to attend. And they said, hey, since you sold like 10, 15 tickets, would you like the chance to have a photo with Ryan? And I was like, Ryan? Because, oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds, he's the keynote speaker. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, absolutely. I was with him for a few seconds, but he was a really nice, down-to-earth kind of guy, and really, really tall. I mean, like Hollywood, they have some magic potion over there to make people look a certain way, I think. But his presentation in the keynote was really focused on marketing and how all the companies that he runs, how they're using social media and online communities, and it's fascinating. He's like 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, I think the marketing agencies that Ryan has around him have been very instrumental in some amazing content, and it's thinking creatively about what they're doing. One of the things that I think you said in one of your posts was about his concerns about Hollywood with AI as well. Does that sort of marry up with what you're hearing online as well about their concerns?
Yeah, I mean, even the last couple of weeks with Luma and now with Runway coming out with very realistic video models, and I mean, some of the stuff I'm creating as we speak now that's just generating in the background is mind-blowingly realistic to me. And from a Hollywood perspective, there are concerns because there are a lot of people that rely on the creativity part to make their work. And Ryan gave a great example of voice actors. So in a 100 plus countries that Deadpool and Wolverine's coming out in, there's 100 voice actors that have to voice him.
Yeah.
Potentially with AI, we already have the technology where we can create AI voices of Ryan himself in different languages. And he said that if we were to do that route, he wouldn't be able to go to any of these countries ever again because they just mob him for taking their jobs. And I don't have an answer for that. It was a very, very point. I'm like, yeah, I don't actually know how how we leave.
So is it his travel that he's concerned about, or is it the people's work?
People's work. He spoke a lot about people, which is very, very refreshing to hear a celebrity talk about the people around him. He barely spoke about himself. He was always speaking about his team or my team or the people I work with. So I sensed that he really cared a lot about the space, but he did have a curiosity in how AI was going, though, which is also good as well.
Of course. Dan, thanks for joining us, Dan. How are you?
Excuse me, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Good to see you.
So, what, Jared? What's next then for you? What's the rest of the year look like?
A lot of travel coming up this year, but I guess the big standout thing end of next week, next Friday, in New York City, there is a big AI event called Imagine AI Live, and I spoke to Steve Metcalf, who is one of the co-founders of the events, and he invited me to come along as a speaker.
Amazing.
As I don't think I'm doing a huge presentation, but I'm going to be involved on the day as a founder, part of the workshops, and this for me is like this is a huge deal for me. So I'm very excited to be invited to be in a space with like pretty big creators. Alex Northstar is going to be there. He was on the show.
Yeah.
Ben Nash, incredible.
We love Ben Nash. We love Alex Northstar. Yeah, the crew were there. I had such a blast with them in Vegas. It was really cool. There's some really good crew going there as well. You'll have lots of fun. Yeah,
and apart from that, doing a bit of travel. I just moved to the US. So I'm hitting up San Francisco, heading back to London for a wedding. End of the year, I hope to get to Asia. So yeah, good fun times. Yeah,
good, amazing.
Nice to meet you, Jared. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Please excuse my tech, but I was able to hear the whole time. That was good. And welcome, Dan. I think this is a really interesting conversation. And Dan is one of our founders, an educator, amazing musician, and I'm hoping he'll teach me how to sing by being a part of his new community. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, Dan, on this conversation. Jeffrey put up a really good comment here. AI will create more jobs than it displaces. What do you think of this? I think this is very interesting.
Oh my goodness, that's such a loaded question.
I know.
But for all the best reasons. So I think that AI is really a hallmark of creativity. And that's kind of what what I've heard has been centered around, is that it's the next step. You know, it's really being able to lean into what's coming. I think art has always had a really big footprint in chronology. So I was actually just presenting at ISTE this last week in Denver, and Michelle King was somebody that really affected me with her closing speech. And she was saying that as humans, we have a 200-year history. We have, like, if you think of the person that was the oldest person you can think of that held you as an infant, and then when you think of your life, you know, many years in the future, that and you're holding an infant, that is typically a 200-year span. So within 200 years in prior human history, we have had a pretty, predictable development. It was maybe 50, 60 years at a time, we would have these major innovations. But now it's exponential. And this changes everything. So that's what I'm actually really excited to be a part of. And Jared, so wonderful to meet you and to hear you speak so passionately about what is coming, because I'm excited for the kids of the future. They, within that 200-year history that they have access to, they will be making major milestones. And we right now, if we kind of think in that context, we have to be ready to accept, and we have to be ready to innovate, and ready to dispel disbelief. that like, how can this be happening right now? How can we actually effectively be part of the future? And that was the context that I heard in everything that you were talking about, Jared.
It reminds me of an English lesson for 9th grade about understanding stories and suspension of disbelief, right? And that's really what's happening here. Like, people can't believe the technology, and so it's causing fear. And the concern, especially when we think about the youth and AI in education, is that it's being held back from students in schools. And not just that, it's impacting them, because I was just watching a YouTube video this morning about a teacher blasting the student. He basically put up the student's work on the screen for the entire class to see, and blasted him for using ChatGPT. Now, this student also copy and pasted everything, including the prompt. But this is what I mean. No one is teaching students how to appropriately use ChatGPT for learning and AI for learning, because it's incredible. It's an incredible learning tool. Instead, they're saying, don't use it. You're a cheater if you use it. And then what do? Of course, they go and they use it. And then they use it terribly. He gets humiliated. I thought that was humiliating for a student. It's just, and that's exactly what we see happening.
I had an interesting conversation yesterday with a new agency, and there's a broad amount of age groups that work for the company. And there's like young group that would be probably in their 20s. And then there's an older group that would be, say, 50 and sort of going towards 60s as well. And the older group are more resistant to it. And the argument that was being had was the older group are concerned about their data. And it was a very short conversation, but the information that was coming back was the older group were saying, well, about our data. It's like, where's our data going? If you're using these large language models and you're sharing information about yourself and talking to them about your projects, where's it going? And then the younger group were just going, yeah, but you guys have been doing that for 20 years. You've been on Facebook and you use mobile phones.
I'm glad I feel like I'm in the younger group for this one. I'm like, really?
Same.
Are we just now concerned about data?
Yeah, completely. Traffic cameras everywhere. Phones.
To me, it's the new thing that makes you sound old. When I was growing up, it was back in my day, musicians, blah, blah, blah. And now it's data is a concern, It's like, come on.
Absolutely.
Let's not sound old, people.
Let's not sound old. Right. It's been a good show today, people. Thank you for joining us, Jared. It's been amazing having you here. Great to have you on. At the end of each show, we always play a little game just to see if everybody's able to tell the difference between some technologies and potentially natural occurrences in the real world. They might be art. They could be photographs. They could be illustrations. Who knows? We play it every week. So everybody out there in Xland, are you ready to play?
We invite you to play with us. Get in those chats. If you've been staying out of the chat, now's a good time to get those thumbs ready. We want to hear from you.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's do it. Here we go. And this is chaotic. Just call out your answer.
Yeah, just jump right in.
I'm gonna say AI.
I think it's AI.
I'm gonna say real.
Oh, okay. Josh says AI. I would love to see some answers from the audience. Both Joshes. Oh my goodness, everyone's saying AI. Mr. Roth, Teodora, LaRock, My Melanin.
Okay, this is good. All right. Okay, well, listen, you're all correct. Well done, everybody.
Oh, that was nice of you. You started us with an easy one, Hendo.
Started off easy. I don't want to start pressuring people.
He wants to make us feel successful. This is good. Good.
Yeah. So this is Dogon puts out a lot of really cool content. He does loads and loads of amazing work on Midjourney, and
Jennifer, what's her name?
Yeah, Jennifer AI. Who's that? Okay, it's still coming in. We love it. Okay, we're moving on.
All right, we're moving on. I don't want to cover Dan's face. All right, we got to figure that out.
So we've been talking, like, we're big anime fans in our house. We watch a lot of Demon Slayer. We're enjoying that a lot. Jared, what's your? You were saying you like anime. What do you like?
Oh man! So at the moment, I love anime, but I'm one of those that I've never seen Attack on Titan, so I'm going through
Okay.
Attack on Titan now.
Okay.
Demon Slayer is great. My Hero Academia, fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, all recommendations, please send them my way because it's.
Well, I'm a bit of a noob as well. It's like my son tells me all about it. He's into Demon Slayer, and some of his friends at school aren't allowed to watch it or read it. So, but we kind of feel like rad parents that we let him watch it. So, I figured today, shall we?
You do
shall
that too? I'd also tell
Of
myself,
course.
I feel like I'm a cool parent right now for doing that.
Yeah, for the moment anyway. Try and live it as
Right.
long as you can. Yeah. So, what are we thinking?
This is a tough one.
Yeah, Cordell is saying his favorite is Death Note. I haven't watched. Don't know that.
Death Note is really good. Actually, there is a Death Note theater show now that I saw in London last year with it's a full musical.
Oh,
And
really?
I thought it was amazing. Personally,
Is it suitable for kids?
yeah, it's suitable.
Okay.
Absolutely suitable. Yeah, it's really good, and the songs.
We're
are great.
getting a mix of some answers here. We've got Real by Cordell. We've got AI by RJ.
This is hard,
Alex
this one.
says AI.
Yeah, it's the eyes for me. Like
My
I've got to
Melanin
say
Man
AI.
says Real.
So we're getting.
Yeah, I think AI
I'm
as well.
gonna go Real.
Okay,
Theodora
well-
also says Real.
This one's AI again, people.
Oof.
Dali 3 knocking it out of the park.
LaRock got it. Good
Yeah.
job.
Jeffrey
Jeffrey,
got
your
it as well.
response came in a little bit delayed, but we'll take it.
Yeah, that's it. Jeffrey's doing yoga at the moment. He's doing his Denver jog. It's like
He's
AI,
making
AI.
his chili bass, whatever. He's like
Yeah.
cooking the other day. I love it.
Okay.
By the
we've
way,
got-
you all, don't forget, in about 7 minutes, we're going to have a space. So meet us backstage. We'd love to chat with you. It's going to be a short one because Jeffrey and I are actually hosting a space right after. So I hope you're ready to spend like 3 hours this afternoon together. All right, here's the
you've
next
got a space on you as well, Christel. Yeah, with Jeffrey.
With Jeffrey,
this-
I'm co-hosting. Yeah,
Is the
we're just going
continuation?
back to back. Yeah, we're going back to back.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Josh says Real. RJ says, oh, it's going so fast. I can't keep up.
I think
This
It's
it's
got to be real with
RJ
filters.
says AI, get out of here.
I
That's
think it's-
funny.
I think it's AI unless she edited out the phone for the selfie from the glasses.
Jeffrey said this is hogwash. What's going on? Okay, I can't keep up with the comments. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this is
say
This
this is a
is
good
the-
problem to have. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say AI with LaRock.
Yeah.
LaRock says AI, so I want to say AI.
Yeah, this
So does
is
my melanin modes.
this is Runway Gen 3, and this is blowing my mind over the
Whoa!
last year.
What?
So my usual prompt, my test prompt for most platforms is usually just like ginger guy with glasses to see how close
Ginger guy.
see how close I can get it to me, and that was
That's
what
funny.
it came up with. It came up with this one. It's like, well, if I put that on as
How
real
come
or
it's
AI,
always like this big burly? I feel like when I see these, it's always this like big burly ginger.
And
AI thinks of ginger men as like Viking men.
I know, yeah, that's it. So like Viking kind of thing. Yeah, it's like it needs a bit more white in the beard as well. Okay, I think we've got maybe one more for the people.
All right, fun. Oh, I'm gonna go with real. We
That's
actually
real.
have these.
The
in
only
Miami.
real one. Yeah.
This is
We
real.
have them walking around our neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah, peacocks. And when they're
Right.
mating, it's really interesting because the men are the pretty ones. Like the men, this is a male peacock. They're the ones that have the beautiful feathers and they fan it and it's gorgeous. And it's actually hypnotizing because it's got a bunch of like eyes on it. That's what it looks like. And that's how they get the ladies. Anyway, so I'm going to say real.
They are violent. When we
They
moved to
are
California, we were living in a trailer actually on the refuge, and there were like 7 peacocks that would like dance on the roof of the trailer every night. They're intense.
They are. LaRock is good. He says, look for the camera in the glasses top tier. Oh, okay.
This one's real. This is also in my neighborhood as well. We've got peacocks in our
Nice.
neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Across the
Yeah.
world, and we both have peacocks.
Yeah, and they're really noisy as well. It's like it's a bit of a novelty around this way. Exotic birds in the England, interesting times.
I love
So
this very like nerdy artistic response from RJ. There's something about composition that gives away AI versus real. This one shouts real. I can see us like really becoming pros at this, you know, like
yeah.
having a full we'll bring
So
RJ
listen,
on.
if you're creating AI images and you want to test the people with this,
Yeah.
send them to me. We'll
Submit.
include them. Yeah. Submit your images and they can be real, they can be AI, whatever you want to do, sketches, drawings, whatever you want. Let's test
You know,
the people.
I've actually started taking pictures. I'm just not great at sending them to you, but sometimes
Do
I
it.
actually have been taking pictures just for real or AI. So if you all
Yeah,
want to take
same.
pictures of real stuff too,
Yeah.
submit your images and we can make this, you know, you all can be authors of this. This has been great. Thank you so much, Jared, for joining us. And Dan, thanks for bringing that fire. Dan came in like, I am ready for my take. I love it. I enjoyed both of you thoroughly. So thank you.
Thanks, guys. So we'll see. Yeah, we've got a space. We're going to go into the space in a couple of minutes, just have a quick chat. And then we've got Christel's show after that. So thank you, everybody.
Let's say bye to Jared and Dan. Thank you all.
See you guys. Thank you.
See ya. There's that like awkward delayed bye. I'm trying to remove Dan, but my computer
still
is
here.
so slow. So Dan, it's just like that long bye. Okay. So funny. Well, that was great. That was fun. I'd love to know what you all think. Maybe come to the backstage pass or leave a chat here. What'd you think of this format? Thank you, Hendo, for the idea.
Yeah, let's change it up. Let's see. We'll definitely keep with. And also, it's like, you know, a lot of the content that we've been talking about AI, but we've also got two shows. So we've got Get AI Creative, which is on Tuesdays, and it's strictly AI. So we don't necessarily want to be doing repetition content today, hence the change. And it's more about X as well. So kind of keep it cool as well.
I enjoyed this. I felt like it was a smoother flow because it gets tough with the deck, but yeah, we'll talk more about this in the space coming up. So come to either my profile or Hendo's. And in about 1 minute, we're going to be starting the space. But thank you everyone for joining. Hendo, how can we get in touch with you?
How can you get in touch with me? Well, I'm on X. Just connect with me on X. If we haven't, I'm on X. You'll find me. If we haven't spoken, let's connect. Let's talk. There's lots of cool stuff to do. There's loads of cool stuff. It's X, isn't it? We're doing AI. That's it. Let's go.
We'll get better next time about having the link. But for now, just come to either of our bios and you'll see us. We'll be popping up in just a minute. Thank you. Hendo now has a beautiful website, also hendoai.com. So go check that out.
That was fun to do. Yeah, I enjoyed that. There's good stuff
from
on
those
there.
Monday builds. So we're going to continue doing the Monday build as well. So on Monday, we're building websites, chatbots, AI agents. So definitely get involved. If you want to join the Edu Creator community, please go to my bio and you'll see aiforeducreators.com. You can join the community there and you can see all of our content. So if you want to know what's going on, just go to the website. It's a whole blog site. But yeah, it's been great. Hope to see you all at the after party. LaRock says July 4th pre-party. Absolutely. All right, you all.
Let's go.
Take care. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Daybreak. We'll be back next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss Christel and Hendo on their usual spaces, Creative AI Thursday and AI Friday. Remember X, you rock.